We're hearing now because with the popularity of Demon Slayer, Chainsaw Man, and Jujutsu Kaisen the movie, we're going to be expecting a Solo Leveling movie project coming soon. Not a live action, even though there is a live action going to be. Netflix is going to be working on that as well, but there was going to be an animated one. Because right now, you could talk about the box office as far as right now who's making the best money. And right now, it is a split between horror and anime. Yeah, that's right. Horror and anime right now are basically making money in the box office, wherever you are in the world. For the reason is, these are low-budget films. They don't cost much, easy to produce, and they're able to get them out, at a decent rate. And and a lot of this is the popularity. We were talking about this on Man Cafe this week, me and Death Angel Shadows, that these anime movies, these horror films, these science fiction movies, it is you have to make them for the fan base, to the point. You can't go and say, well, we want the masses to come in and watch it. We're going to make it for the masses. You can't do it with these genres. It's almost impossible. Every once in a while, you might come across something that, works well with the masses, but you can't think on that with every subject matter that you could think of. You have to think it to the point on who's going to come to watch this movie. Plain and simple. You got to go back to that thought pattern. And once you get to that, and you understand that, if you're making a science fiction movie, say a Star Trek or Star Wars, you're not going to get a person that doesn't like science fiction to come see that, even though you try to advertise it to them. No, you want to be able to say, we've made this movie for the fans. Don't leave the fans out of it, because they're the ones who line up day in, day out to come to see these movies. And it includes the anime industry. Includes the horror industry. There was a time and place back when I was young. We would stand online for hours. We stood online for hours to see Star Wars. We stood online for hours to see Star Trek. We stood on lines to see Indiana Jones movies. We did this back in the day. Do we see that today? No, we don't. We don't really see that other than the really popular stuff, including anime, which is the fan-driven movies. Hollywood needs to step back, stop looking for the big blockbuster film. You've done what you can with the blockbuster. You made your money. Step back, change your pattern, and move on to something else. Start looking at the low budgets, at stuff that basically people will enjoy. This is, one of the reasons why, and I'll tell you this, Taylor Sheridan from Paramount, that does very well from, the man who created Yellowstone, Tulsa King, is because he's telling good stories. He stays away from the media to talk about politics and all that. He just creates what he can. Now he has his own studio in Texas, if I got this right this time, in Texas, and he's planning to expand. He's got a lot of shows coming. He's got a spinoff from Tulsa King, which this weekend, I believe Samuel Jackson is making his appearance to begin to introduce the spinoff. But also Hollywood is making their move eastward. We have studios opening up here in the tri-state area. We have companies like Netflix, Lionsgate, Paramount, with the help of Studio 1888, and various others that are moving into this area to produce quality programming. And meanwhile, overseas in Japan, they're beginning to expand. I mean, you have Toho, who's also in accordance with J-Kids in the U.S., trying to expand further. Kodansha is building a facility studio here in the U.S. To make manga movies, live action ones as well. And you have many others that are just starting to look at the perspective that we're going to make stuff for the West, but understand this is our culture, this is our programming, this is our movies, this is our, what we create. You have no jurisdiction over them. And we're hoping we're going to start seeing that some of these companies are going to start doing English dubs in-house at that point, putting a damper on Crunchyroll and many others here in the U.S. But getting back to the box office a bit, right now, this is Thursday, 13th of November. Tomorrow, in the country of China, Demon Slayer Infinity Castle opens. Now, currently, at the time of this recording, which was about a couple of days prior, the last numbers I got for pre-sales in China, somewhere around 18.4 million. That's in U.S. dollars. Basically for pre-sales of ticketing in China for this. It is becoming a record breaking in China. This will be one of the only ones that have ever, as far as a movie anime that's made outside China, that basically it will have high numbers. This has already surpassed pre-ticket sales from Avatar 2, which was around 17 million. Probably by the time this video airs, of course, this Thursday, will probably be well over 20. And of course, we expect Demon Slayer to break the $1 billion mark. First time for a anime movie. I mean, Mugen Train did pretty well, but already Infinity Castle has surpassed it. And still, there's 2 more parts to this movie that still hasn't been released yet, which we expect it to be, I think the closest will be 2027 and 2029 for the finale. And supposedly, Crunchyroll is pulling back that originally they were not going to be airing this movie on their service. Then they said, "Yeah, we're going to do it." And then they said, "No, we're not going to. We still need to get a full confirmation." But I think if once it does very well in China, and we get through the holidays and the final tally numbers for 2025 comes out, and that'd be in late January, February. We'll see where we stand financially at the box office. Even though I don't think this is going to be the best year for the box office itself. A lot of people say, well, we're probably either going to break even or basically we'll be well below the numbers generally. But this, like I say, this year has been driven. You've had about maybe 1, 2 or 3 movies, blockbusters that have done well for itself. But the rest of the entire movie season, from the beginning of the year till now, has been driven by horror and anime. It's shocking. It is shocking to that point. But like I said, it's cheap to make, easy to produce, and you have a fan structure out there that will beat down your door. Even if the film, like for example in the horror genre, even if the horror genre is not that great of a film, people will still go see it.
If you like this content, be sure to check out the rest of this video on Otaku Thursday. Every week on Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube and Rumble. And don't forget to comment, like and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe. See you next time!